What's up, everybody? It is the Are You the One Second Chances finale. Hey! And it's about to go down in the studio. I got my peoples with me, and we got some winners and a possible guest, but we'll see. You got to stay tuned. Let's get it.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Looking at the truth, the money never lie. No, I'm the one, yeah. I'm the one.
Yeah. Oh,
That's great.
that was good, right?
That was really good.
good.
You sick of all this other imitation.
Get it, Abby.
You're not the only
Country
real
twerking.
one intimidate
Country
ya.
twerking. Country
Are we gonna get
twerking.
a chance? Are you gonna be
Get
able to
it.
chances?
Get it. Get it. Get it. Get it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, Abby's really turned up because why? Why, Nino?
She's gonna find the one tonight.
Oh, she's gonna find the one tonight.
She's gonna find the one
She's
tonight.
a special date.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Date action.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she's the one that's calling the shots. Let's
guys-
just say that.
Yeah,
You guys should play this episode back tonight.
Duh.
That's what you guys should do. You should watch
love-
this episode back tonight, so you
Yeah.
can watch you watching him watching you.
I don't
It would be
know.
amazing.
I think we should, Nino, like go and like turn up at wherever their date is, and then like be like, you know, they hide and you like.
Are they
do
going
stuff.
anywhere,
Yeah,
or is
right.
it just a situation?
And well, you know.
I will not reveal the details of my
location.
location.
You might have more than one date that comes by. You know, you got some fans in here.
Yes.
They're all in there. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Lem Gonsalves here, as always, and you can find me at the Poet Saint all day, every day. Really excited because we are in the finale, and I got my peoples with me. As I mentioned before, we got Miss Abby Vega in the building, country twerking extraordinaire, sexy beast.
Yo, yo, yo! It's Abby Vega here. You can find me all day, every day at _Abby Vega. And I'm so excited to be here. And I'm really just getting my intro down now. You guys
Right.
inspire me.
Yeah,
You
I
do.
feel
like
like
it.
that was a
I
mesh
like
of
it.
our intros.
It
together.
was,
Yeah.
and I thought it was great.
I like the yo-yo. Keep the yo-yo
Yo-yo.
because that was epic.
That was
I'm
good.
just saying.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, as always, I also have my boy, my main man,
That's right.
my A1 since day one.
Hey.
You know who he is, the freshest ever,
Hey.
Nino Llanera.
Hey, Lem, one of the best intros ever. What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Nino. You can catch me at Nino Llanera on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Follow my hashtag Nino's POV to find out where I am. The last one, and I couldn't even get it right.
It's all good. It's all good. I also want to give a shout out to Miss Rashida, who is supposed to be joining us on Skype. I'm putting her on blast right now, and all of you that are in live chat, you should tweet her because she should be on the screen. And last time we had her, she had some challenges. We did eventually get her on. I know she's probably celebrating,
yeah.
you know, the win,
The W.
because she did win.
The W.
Her and Devin. So I get it. But ladies and gentlemen, if you want to talk with her and see how she liked it, make sure you go on your Twitter and you tweet her at RZ Beach and you say AfterBuzz 3. That's all you gotta do.
Calling her
Because
her
that's
out.
where she needs to call us on Skype to be on the show. AfterBuzz C. So everybody just go on there, RZ Beach, AfterBuzz 3, and just tweet her all over the place. Hopefully she'll get the message.
Yes.
Word.
Everyone's going to be calling us on Skype now.
Right.
Sorry,
It's
engineer.
Right.
Sorry, engineer.
So many calls. We're like, nah, I'm Rashida, I promise. I'm Rashida. It's all good. We do have some people in the live chat.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm glad about that. Abby will be checking on you if you have some questions or some really dope concerns about the episode.
Dope concerns.
Dope concerns only.
Dope concerns only. We only want the dope
Nothing
ones.
less.
Exactly. They have to be super dope. Super dope concerns. Let us know, and then we'll shout you out on the show. That's how we do. So let's break into it. First of all, was anyone of you surprised in the outcome of the show?
Nope.
No, I think we called this out a little bit ago. Although I thought Tori Morgan really did have a chance towards that end right there. And I was like, Rashida, run, girl,
Yeah.
run. Just run.
But do you think it was because they made it seem kind of close? But I don't think it was really that close.
I don't know if this is not close.
Yeah, I don't think it was that close because if they would have saw them, they could have been like, "Oh, they're right there," and I didn't see them doing it. I just saw them like running. So I don't think that they were.
It probably wasn't as
Yeah.
close as they made it, but they
Right.
have to make it look that
Of
way so
course.
that everyone gets that like
Of course.
stress of what's gonna happen.
Of
But I'm
course.
pretty sure like second week I said that Devin and Rashida were gonna win.
Well, you just like Devin, so I don't know if that's really fair.
I think it's fair.
Now he can buy you all the foamers you want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I tweeted at him. He better take me out now.
Foamers. So, first of all, we do have to congratulate Rashida and Devin
Yay.
for coming in first place. Shout out to them. I think, I wasn't any surprise to me. And honestly, I think they deserve first place. I don't think anyone played a better game. I think they were the best perfect match couple. I think they worked, the best together. At no point did I think that Devin was going to steal from her. Vice versa. I didn't think Rashida was going to steal from him. Even though at the end they try to play it up and people try to get in his head. And he's like, well, what if I did? I don't think it was ever even a thought.
To be honest, I think if the challenge would have been more physical and less about being perfect matches, I think they would have struggled against Tori and Morgan more.
Yeah.
Well, I think definitely Tori and Morgan were the more superior
Physical,
as far as superior physical. And they even said that. They said, we can run faster than them. But I think that just shows how great of a, like, for instance, Devin was with Rashida, because where she was lacking, I feel like he encouraged her.
No, yeah, for sure.
As opposed to maybe, some other couples where they like, oh, you suck, and then kind of put them down.
Right.
Yeah.
And made them feel some kind of way, and then that doesn't help, and we saw that happen, and a lot of couples crumbled because of that, because they couldn't work and get past their differences and past, the things that they weren't necessarily very good at.
Also,
And
in the chat, everyone is kind of agreeing the same. Like, no one even doubted Devin for a second that that no one thought he was going to steal. So everyone kind of was on the same page as us.
He was just talking, and he was just like making some small talk, and was just trying to mess with them, and it kind of backfired on him. When they were like, I think he was talking about you.
Well, he said, first of all, he, considers himself, which I think, he's a master manipulator, right? So I think it'd be very hard to manipulate him, because this is something he does. And so to sit up there and try to turn the tables and be like, yeah, Devin, I think, you should think about stealing. Like, come on.
It was a great effort, though.
See, that was the thing for me.
It was a last-ditch effort.
Like, Morgan trying to convince Devin was going nowhere. But I think even though I never thought Rashida would even steal, even if she thought Devin was going to, I still think it was kind of one of those... who did it? The Carolina thing. Like, Carolina it just wasn't in her character or personality to steal from her match. I don't think Rashida ever would, but I think people had a better chance of getting in her head about it.
Which they did.
Yeah.
Tori definitely went over there and just, guess what I heard. And I think it did. And because I think Rashida bringing it up at the end was an indicator of, yes, it did affect her. Because she was, as Devin was like, I'd never steal, and da-da-da-da. She's like, well, why are you talking about it?
Yeah.
And she just kind of getting past that. And Tori was just like, yes, please. But again, I think even in asking her, I still think it wasn't in her nature. And she was not going to steal regardless.
I'd actually be curious. I hope that we get her on the line. Because to me, in my head, too, I wonder if... Because it's hard for me to believe that Devin and Rashida didn't have like a sit-down conversation after they showed all this like manipulating happening. And so I'm wondering if at any of it was them kind of just messing with Morgan and Tori at that point. Like, let's mess with them. See, let them think that they actually have a chance. Like, Rashida acting like she doesn't believe Devin. Because to me, I feel like this entire time she's shown that she trusts him 100%. So I'm wondering if it was kind of like, I'm going to taunt you a little, kind of like Devin said. He's like, why wouldn't I taunt you guys?
Absolutely.
So maybe that was a little part of it.
I think that's what it was. I think Devin was just taunting them about the situation. He already won the money. He's chilling now. He's like, what else can I do for fun?
Right.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah, no, I think it was no point. I think it was just for the sake of the show to kind of let them, okay, I'll give them a bone. I'll give them something.
Nonetheless, though, this just goes to show how strong their relationship is.
Yeah.
If there was doubt right at the end, it was very, very small for them to still, be where they're at now.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think, and I know that there was kind of at the beginning of this, there was a lot of comparisons drawn about him and Bananas, from the challenge. And I think that they're two different people. Although they play a similar game, as far as mind games and stuff like that. Like Devin said at the beginning, I'll stab you in the front, not in the back. The heart not coming for your back. And I agree with that. I think that he kind of gets at you, but at his core, he's not a deviant. He's not somebody that is going to...
But what always sticks with me, too, is what he said when he was in here. It's like... He went into Are You the One knowing that it was a team game, so he had to win with this team. With Rashida, this is like his friend. So I'm wondering almost if it was a different person, I feel like it could be different. Because for me personally, like if I went into this game and my partner was a friend, like someone I loved, it's way harder to screw someone over. But if it's someone you really don't care much about and you have that much money at stake, I feel like it's way easier to just screw them over.
If this wasn't Rashida, I think it would be a different situation for him.
Well, he even kind of alluded to that. He's like, yo, it's hard because Rashida is my girl.
Right.
And he basically said if it was any other girl in the house, it would probably be a different outcome. He probably would go for the steal. And I agree with that because at the end of the day, it is a game and you're trying to win money. And I think a lot of what his decision making is the fact that they were so close,
Right.
and the fact that they had worked well together, and he doesn't want to let that happen, go, especially knowing like she's not going to do that to me at the end of the day. Whereas, if there isn't, a person that you're connected to like that, like hence Bananas,
Right.
who pulled the ultimate move. Those of you that are challenge fans know what I'm talking about, against Sarah, which
Epic.
oh gosh,
He would do it again and again.
Oh
So
my
it's
gosh.
like-
I loved every second of that.
that
though.
was, and what's crazy was, not to deviate from, but those of you that watch the challenge, Johnny is notorious for doing that kind of stuff, backstabbing and kind of manipulating. But that literally was the ultimate, because that was the biggest win anyone could ever receive by taking that steal. And so for him to take it and just be like,
Peace.
yeah, I'm gonna take the money and run, and then buy a house, and then say like he helped her buy a house. Like that's even like that's jacked up.
I love the steals though. Like I guess we only got 2. Did we end up getting 2 this season?
So we got Francesca, and then we got
Hayden.
Hayden.
Yeah, I was hoping we would have one more like really surprising one.
I was hoping for a double steal.
Yeah,
so
well,
that
I
the
guess-
other person can get the bag.
Yeah.
I guess the most surprising would have been if that wasn't the blind choice and Cameron would have stole from Michaela.
That could have
Like
been.
that would have
could
been. But then at the same time, I think everyone's mind would have gone. There are a couple they've had something figured
Exactly.
out. But yeah, I was hoping. I love the steals.
The steals are good because
They're good. I get, like it's part of the game.
Right.
It's
All about the good
interesting.
TV.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that would have made the show better is if they did have a double steal, because you think like these two people are thinking like, okay, the only reason why they're stealing is because they think the other individual is going to share.
Yep.
So to both be thinking the same thing, cancel each other out, and then get nothing and go home.
Yeah. Did that not happen?
No,
No double
there was
steal.
no
That
double steal. The
double
ultimate
steal would
trailer.
have been awesome.
I feel like
It
it was
would've
funny
been.
because I feel like we were hoping for it at some points.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just double
yes.
steal, so we could see it happen.
And I feel that's why they even brought in the blind choice, because the blind choice came twice, and I think that was a way for them to kind of put another edge on the game,
Right.
As opposed to, because again they weren't getting those double steals, they only got the one. And again, if they made a pact or something like that, then who knows?
Also, so someone in the chat asked if do we know if they can split after stealing, like if Michaela and McCameron, that's what they called him. Michaela and Cameron. But Shanley told us actually that they
Yes.
ended up making them
Sign a
sign some
disclosure,
sort of
right.
disclosure that
Right. In the middle
if
of
there
the
was
game.
if there's any sort of even talk of splitting the money,
Right.
that they wouldn't give
wouldn't get it.
anyone the money.
so
So
at the beginning of production, there was no thing to sign.
Yeah.
Correct.
But because
people were talking about it,
Right.
they put it up. So that, to answer your question, I forget who it
Yeah.
was, but yeah.
Nonetheless, though, like it would be really, really hard for somebody to figure out if they split the money later on. It'll
Yeah.
be, like,
Yeah, well, I
super,
think,
super
I
hard.
mean, you can't, I don't think you can control that.
Yeah.
I think it's just a matter of coercing while you're there and being like, because again,
It
like in the
ruins the
case of,
show.
in the case of Shanley, not Shanley, but Cameron, we'll use that. And how, she was very adamant, Michaela was very adamant to Cameron, like, yo, let's just get up out of here. And then that would be an example to be like, all right, I'll steal, we'll get out of here,
Yeah.
we'll keep whatever money we have and be done with it.
Yeah.
But then again, like you said, that takes away from the show.
I also this will be real quick, but I wanted to say something about the Michaela Cameron situation, because I felt like a lot of people in our chat last week or like in the comments thought that we were like being mean about Michaela.
yeah.
And I just wanted to say, I feel like this is probably on behalf of all of us, is that I don't think it was that. I think it's earlier in the season we were giving a lot of shit to Cameron because he was kind of being a dick, and it was only that we were seeing more sides. So I mean, that's kind of what that was. I felt
to
like people
balance
were
out.
getting a little defensive,
Well, I think
which is going to happen.
what
But
I saw is that it looked like we were defending Cameron.
yes, which we were not.
And no, I mean, I think we were just giving the side. And you got to also, and that's why we, try to have guests on the show that are there that could give the insight that we don't see because of editing or what have you.
Exactly.
And everyone was kind of saying those things. Rashida said it. Shanley said it.
Yeah.
About Michaela and how some of the ways she was acting towards Cameron, and we were just bringing that to life.
Yeah, because I didn't want anyone to think that we were like hating on her, because we love her. We've had her in here before.
Exactly.
So yeah, it was just
We had her side that one time she was
exactly.
sick.
So we just got other
we
sides.
didn't see this other side.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think we said in between everything, it would either way. This would have been some sort of, not a demise to their relationship, but they had something to work on.
Yeah.
And it was better off for them to see it here than 10 years down the line. And
Yeah.
that was a conversation we were talking about.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
You know what I mean? You don't want to mask a lot of this stuff up, especially if you're getting be serious, if you're living together.
Oh, sure.
You know, if you're around that time where you think you're going to get married sooner or whatnot, you want to make sure it's 100%.
Absolutely.
And I think that's all we were trying to say.
Yeah, so I just wanted to touch, because I didn't want people to like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I just kind of look at it like, look, y'all don't know. So,
Yeah, I don't know.
Y'all don't know. But whatever.
And if you're 15 and you're trying to explain like a full love relationship,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. It's not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
So the final challenge, I like the final challenge. I mean, kind of the way that they did. I think it was good because in a lot of these, and basically all the challenges, the common theme was that they had to work together. They had to know. Like, I think the first challenge was they had to know things about each other, and because they're perfect matches. And so they had to race to the highest building in the city, which was the Eureka Sky Deck, and then basically have challenge throughout that had to do with, again, working together and things that they should know about each other. And this was a big deal. So first place was going to get 50,000 added. Huge. Second place was basically going to get any money added, but have money cut in half. And then third place was basically lose all of their money.
That
and
just
was screwed.
sucks.
So basically, and you know, usually you've seen like in last place on the previous challenges, you had some hope because if there was a double steal, you could still be in the game. But there was never a situation like that. And so basically to get third in this point, all that way, and I don't think, how much did they have? I can't remember.
Who?
Shanley and
They
Adam.
had 60,000.
60,000.
Yeah.
So a substantial amount of money that they had. They had more than Morgan and Tori. And so basically to get that and then lose everything sucks.
We had guessed this too. We had guessed that the first and second place was going to get some money, and the third was just not going to get
anything.
And it went the same exact way we thought.
Right, exactly.
See, I thought they were all going to get something.
I thought they were all going to get something,
nice.
or and then it still be up to, you know what I'm saying, situation of choice. But to basically do that, and it's like if you're third, that's it, you're done for the game.
I wonder if like their consolation prize was you get an all expense paid trip together.
Yeah, they would have been like, let's just go home.
Right. No, screw that.
Right, sell it.
I love Morgan saying like you couldn't see due to tanning too much.
Okay, he had so many little comments that were just the funniest thing.
That was comedy.
He's good. I'm telling you, this helped him come out of his
did.
Personality show.
It really did.
Absolutely.
It really did.
No, that was good. I like that. I love Devin and Rashida were just the greatest this whole time. But like they had a bunch of cool moments. But like when they were doing their song,
What they even say?
I can't remember what it was. I know at the end it was something like you should have sent us home. Like, or something like that. Yeah, no, it was dope. It was dope. But we do see obviously to see how well. And poor Shanley and Adam, it was just rough.
It was.
And they really had a hard, time. Basically, I feel like the entire time they're there. We were saying earlier, and we've had Shanley. Shanley was here twice on the show, and she kind of, elaborated on it. But I was thinking out the gate that they probably had the best advantage in the beginning. Because they've known each other the longest.
Yeah.
I either thought they were going to have advantage or it was going to be Michaela and Cameron were going to be killing it because they're an actual couple. So they, live together. They're the only one that was a couple.
Yep.
But unfortunately, it did not work in their favor. And then with Shanley and Adam, yes, they made it to the end, but they were fighting the entire time.
Yeah.
It was a fight the entire time.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting because I agree. I thought Cameron and Michaela, initially going into it, I thought would be the strongest. As a couple episodes go in, my mind changed a little bit. But I also, the people like Tori and Morgan, I thought were going to have a rough time. And they ended up, I thought it was awesome to see their relationship grow. And they seemed very content and happy, even though they were going away. Like Morgan made a joke, like, thanks for the coupon.
Right.
But like, I thought it was cool that they at least grew the way that they did, and it was good to see.
They used this as a therapy session.
They did, yeah.
With an extra, $12,500
right.
to take home a piece.
Sure.
Which was dope to see. But they really, really worked on their situation because their communication was good. Now for, Adam and Shanley, the communication was just off the whole time, unfortunately. And they knew nothing about each other. Physically is why they got to third place. Why they got here all the way, because physically they were doing well.
They were on the physical end.
Yeah, on the physical end.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And with some luck here and there as far as the personality stuff. But that maze just...
What was crazy is, and they got to the maze first.
They did.
They got to the maze first. They were on target to basically, and then that maze killed them. And because you had to know these
about
things.
them.
And I think, and I can understand her being pissed because in her thing, like what was questions was how many relationships. And he had said 2. And so, but it was actually 3. And so he didn't give her the right information for whatever reason. And so then that was messing her up because she's like, and then it just became the spiral, situation where, okay, this, that. And he actually came up with a cool strategy where he was just like, all right, I'm just going to change it. And then eventually
do what you got to do.
Right. Hey, you got to do what you got to do. So, I mean, it eventually worked, but it was just hard. And then the worst part, I think, of everything was the pebbles when they got to Pebble Beach and they had to line up, their, what was it? It was kind of...
Their values and what they're,
values, looking for the word, line up values and kind of the order that they would put it in. And, she told Adam, follow me, think like me.
Yeah.
But
which is,
it's
that's hard when they
tough.
barely,
both, I felt bad for both of them in different ways. Because like, you can't just say to someone, think like me when you haven't been getting along. But then at the same time, I see why she was frustrated with him from the previous. It was just bad all around.
And it sucks.
It was so bad.
The way they were thinking together was them just not doing anything.
It was
at all.
It was really bad.
And they're just chilling.
Yeah.
Like,
well, he thought she was going to
gosh.
change hers, and she thought he was going to change it, and they couldn't really see each other. So it was like, okay, well, she's changing. Oh, and they're just literally both sitting there.
And they can't hear each other as well too.
Exactly.
So as much as she was trying to communicate,
it wasn't
and the
working.
dynamic is so weird because I actually didn't watch that season of Are You the One? So this is all I've seen of them two together, or either of them really. And it was just, the whole season, it was very interesting to me. Like, she talked about it in here. She's like, I would have had so much respect for him if he just stood up for himself. And that's what I was thinking the most this entire challenge, because she was saying some, before she did some low blows, but she was just being harsh and rough on him. But he didn't say anything.
Right. He just let
so
it go.
It was just you don't even know. It was
seems like
weird.
a really nice guy, and I wish he did stand up for himself.
Yeah.
And even if she says that too, she says, like what she said, if she stood up for herself, I would have had more respect for him or whatnot. It's a tough situation because, you know what I mean?
It is tough. And I think
they seem
Tori,
like really good people, both
right.
of them.
Yeah.
And Tori kind of shed light on it, and, she was explaining that to him, dude, you should have, because it was she was trying to impart into him, and hopefully that was going to be the gel to make it work, but he should have been doing the other thing to her and standing up for himself and kind of asserting himself in that regard. And that was the problem. He was not doing that. That's what whether she was communicating that or not, and they just couldn't communicate with
Yeah, they just didn't have the same page of communication from the first episode. So I think
communication was very much off, and you had to be able to communicate
that was
with
huge
each other
in this game.
on and during the challenge, outside of the challenge.
Right.
Yeah.
You had to, and they just could never get that together. And I think, Shanley just kind of checked out, and was just kind of and it was even when they, finished last at the very end, and she's just walking she doesn't even want to hear the spill. She doesn't even want to hear this. Karam will give the spill that she's last because she sees the other two couples.
Right. Yeah.
But her thing was, she's like, you lied to me, because remember, her thing was she didn't steal. Or basically, they both did share because he said, I want to get to the finale.
Yeah.
I'm going to work so hard. Because, in her mind, she was thinking, man, I can steal, I can take this money, and I can be out and be done. But she's like, no, he said he's ready to work, and she's a tough competitor. So she hit share, I believe, on the basis that he's going to own up to his word.
Yeah.
And then when he didn't, or when it didn't work out, then she was just like, oh, you betrayed me.
I wish she would have stole the money, just because $60,000, that's so much money anyone could do with it. And but it's such a hard promise for someone to make, because everyone in their mind is gonna think they're doing their best. And then when you get to the final and it doesn't work out the way you hope,
Yeah.
it's just so easy to go, you promised. But so it was just, to me, I don't think that was, I don't know. I wish she would have stole the money.
Like, is really, really strong.
Yeah.
Even with their fighting or whatnot, she's a really good person. And we've seen that when she came on here. You know?
Yeah, she's cool.
She's a really cool person. So it's in her personality and it's in her traits to just be like, okay, I'm going to try because you said you're going to try.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
And she's also a competitor.
And she's
I
also
think.
a competitor, so
Yeah.
she wants to keep on going or whatnot. You know what I mean? She I don't think she had it in her to steal whatsoever, even though, you know, she was super mad. It's just not in her integrity to steal. I know she probably
I think she would have stole.
It was hard. I mean, I think yes, at her core, she's a very good person. I mean, she's good people, but I think she was thinking maybe to steal because now she doesn't have anything. So it's like you have nothing to show for it. And also, and she said this before openly, that she felt like she did most of the work.
Yeah.
You know, when it came to the physical things, like that whole bike room, she talked about the bike,
The
and all he
pedals.
had was the pedals. You know, so she felt like she carried him in most of the challenge. So in her, and in anybody, a lot of people's mind, I should say, is that, yeah, I'll steal because I did most of the work. And remember, Devin brought that up too, whether he was, you know, playing with him or not. But he was like, yo, I did 70, 30, so if I steal, it wouldn't be too bad because I really did carry the weight and, you know, this, that, and the other. So, I mean, it's all relative. But yeah, hindsight, you think about it, yeah, she knows she wished she would have still because she would have the money.
Right.
Now she doesn't have anything to show for it, and now they're not even cool.
Or are they?
Well,
We don't know.
they're cool now, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like what it was on the show,
Definitely.
for sure. But at the time, obviously, they're like, yo, we don't leave with money, and we don't have a friendship
Yeah.
anymore. So I think that's the sucky part about, you know, a situation like this in a game. I think I could definitely see Shanley in future challenges. Like, you know, I could see her getting voted, you know, into one of the MTV challenges.
Same.
Yeah.
She's a really good challenger.
Yeah.
She's a big personality
Yes.
and speaks her mind,
Yes.
and she is like a good like athletic competitor, which I
Absolutely.
think would be great for like the challenge. So
And I love, like, you know, she's pretty tiny. And I love, like, you see, like, you know, again, watching the challenge, like girls like Camilla, who's also small.
Yeah.
And Rashida was small and just fighters.
And they're awesome.
You know, and they just don't take no mess, you
Yeah.
know. So I hope, you know, if MTV, you know, calls up, maybe she'll do it.
Yeah,
But yeah, I could see her. I'd love to see her in the challenge.
in this chat, there's a lot of I wouldn't say the word hate, but a lot of people did not agree with how Shanley acted or how she treated Adam at all, which Shanley realizes. She was in here
said
and
it.
she said it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. That's just
they-
what's happening in the chat right now.
I think the thing is they both need work.
Yeah, they're saying
Plain
that
and simple. They both need
a
work.
lot of people have agreed to that using the excuse that he never stood up for himself isn't a good reason to be rude.
To do that to
Which
him.
is valid point. But yeah, like I said, in that situation, I guess none of us really know until we're in it. But
Right.
that's what's happening in the chat. Thanks for giving your
No,
opinions,
it's really good.
everyone.
We
We
love
love
the
hearing
opinions.
it. Yeah.
Absolutely. And there's also, I mean, one of the things, and I don't know if she said, I think she said this when she was here, but there was a lot, I mean, again, you know, everyone, and we say this all the time, but we don't know what happens, you know, all the time.
Yeah.
We know how MTV cuts it, how the show edits everything. So we don't know how things actually go. We don't know, he could have been saying stuff to her and we didn't even see that. So I think you have to kind of keep that in mind. I mean, overall, you know, she did, you know, give her account of things, and I believe, you know, what she says in relation to that. It'd be interesting, you know, too bad we couldn't get Adam on our show
Yeah.
and kind of get his point of view on things, and could have been different. But I trust, you know, what she's saying about the situation. And at the end of the day, when you're in a situation where you're trying to win money, and you're talking about thousands and thousands of dollars, it gets pretty heated, and you know, you're trying to work together and you're frustrated because you feel like you're giving your all.
Yeah.
You feel like your partner isn't, you know, so it can be very I don't know how I would be.
Yeah.
If I had that on the line,
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be a nice person.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
it's so easy to say, "Oh, I would have done this. I would
Right.
never steal. I
Right.
would never act that way." But
Right.
it's
When
like
you're put in that predicament,
it's
Exactly.
like I've worked in reality TV, and it's just the situation is never what it seems like. It's made for our entertainment. But it's entertaining.
Right.
It is.
That's what it is.
it's kind
So
of what we do when we get mad and we're in the heat of the moment and we say stuff we're not supposed to say.
yeah,
We're
but
not
no one's
thinking about
filming
it.
us.
Exactly.
So
So that we can retract and be like, you know what, I messed up.
My bad.
I should have drawn back.
Rewind.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad. Let me correct that. But in reality TV, you can't. It's on camera. The cut's gonna be the cut.
Absolutely.
And nonetheless, like I said, they both need to work on situations or whatnot in their issues with each other, issues by themselves or whatnot. And they both have said it that they need to work on that. So let them work on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, can I say something that Jennifer in the chat just said, because we were
Please
talking
do.
about how you like top this season because they brought in all the good personalities of perfect matches and people were throwing out ideas. I mentioned how we were saying maybe just 2 big teams of combinations. She made an interesting point. It'd be cool to have 2 different teams, one of all perfect matches and one of people who weren't perfect matches, to see if that, you know what I mean? Like a combination of like, maybe it's like 10 versus 10, 5 perfect matches, 5 not perfect matches, but maybe couples that were together or something.
like that.
I don't know, I thought that was an interesting idea.
'Cause that could definitely play for some interesting TV, because the couples who are perfect matches might not definitely get along all the way.
Yeah.
And the couples who are just there just to compete without having a relationship to deal with.
Yeah.
see how
It
that
could be
plays.
it could be interesting.
Well, they've done that, again, not to beat a dead horse, but with the
Hearse.
with the hearse, dead hearse, man, that hearse is so dead. Hearse, I'm beating you. But no, the challenge, they did that with, when people have hooked up and then they're all of a sudden on a team.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I can't remember which one that was, but I feel like they've done it a couple of times. So I could definitely see them doing something like that. And that would be cool. I think that would be cool. And like, it would be interesting, like someone like Shanley, you said you didn't watch her episode. I did. And I remember the guy that she was with, and they were deemed as not a perfect match early.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like 2nd or 3rd episode, and basically stayed together the entire time. And she was like the first, like, I think it said when she was at the non-match couple that, like, I don't
Latched
care
on.
what anybody says, this is me. So it'd be interesting. I mean, that's kind of going way far back.
Yeah.
curse.
But like if they
started
were
there.
together, because they had mad chemistry.
Yeah, because it's just, I mean, the show itself, I've watched the last 3 seasons now, it's like they do have such great cast and characters.
Right.
But it would be hard, I think, in my opinion, to keep the perfect match ones going, because you do need these big personalities for a show like this and competitors at the same time and both perfect matches to agree to come on. I feel like they're going to have to broaden it to more of the cast members, and they probably will.
I would say around like 3rd or 4th season.
Yeah.
This is definitely going to go. This did really, really well as an AYTO. I think they're probably going to do a switch up kind of in the middle of it all. They're probably going to do this next season with second chances again, just like they did this. Small little changes here and there, but I definitely agree that there might be something crazy big like that.
Yeah.
Come 3rd, 4th.
That would be dope. And I think it would be easy to kind of get, like if they did a 5 and 5.
Yeah.
But they also are integrating them into the challenge. There's the hearse again that I'm beating. But they are, constantly
Word of the
integrating
day,
them.
children. Word
It's
of the
okay.
day.
It's okay. MTV, we're helping all MTV
Right.
shows.
Exactly.
So it's fine.
James, do we anything on Rashida at all? No?
She's
Okay.
celebrating her win.
She's celebrating. her win.
She's sleeping.
We
right?
still love you, Rashida. We love
It is
you.
like midnight, almost 1 o'clock there, so
Yeah.
I'm not mad at her. But I'd love to get her account on, just the situation with her winning, and it was so. I mean, one of the things that was dope when they beasted that what was it when they had to figure out which one?
The Rock.
Yeah.
The Rocks.
No, not the Rocks. I'm talking about the one that they got like right away.
Oh, the questions about each other. They didn't even have to ask.
Yes.
They
in the
didn't ask
maze.
each other. They just
boom,
knew.
Boom, right away.
fast.
And then he was like, yeah, and her mom and dad's name, and da-da, shoe
I love
size,
it.
and da-da. He was just like, got
She's
it,
like, shoe
got
size
it,
7.
got it,
Guys
yeah.
should sleep with 7. Ask me about it.
Right.
Like, it's like they, from the beginning, like,
That was
I
great.
think that's another thing
That was
about
great.
them as a match is just like, they're so fun to watch together. It's like, even if they were having like a struggle and a challenge, they worked it out. And then when they were doing their interviews, they were just funny. They're just fun people to watch. I think the same way with Torgan and
Corgan. It's fine. It's fine.
Tori and Morgan. I felt the same way watching them. There are some
Right.
people that like it doesn't have to be drama for it to be entertaining.
Right.
It's like I enjoy watching those people just getting along and having fun. So I thought
Corgan's
that
definitely one that like you see them together when they're getting along, they're just funny.
Yeah.
When she was like he wants to have kids at 40, he's like I'm gonna be a stud till I'm 70. Okay. Like,
That was hilarious.
that's hilarious.
so good.
That was hilarious. No, that was great.
They play off each other well.
Yes.
Both
Right.
of those couples.
And I think they were like probably a great success story, like the most improved couple.
Yeah.
Because they came in, with her sleeping with, his roommate, after
Also
kind of being a couple,
Most
and then,
awkward Skype
right,
session
and
we've
then
ever had here in the studio.
and then coming back, and then when we had all three of them, that was super weird. But yeah, then coming back and then kind of dealing with that situation, kind of, I'm sorry, let's work this out, and then just, smashing, they had a smash session.
Supposedly.
Well, they did.
They probably did.
Of course.
You know what's interesting too is with this show, like I found like the two strongest couples and like the ones that we really enjoyed watching, we saw getting along, we saw playing well off each other, are ones that like aren't couples in real life. It's like the matchmakers did it right in some sense, but it seems more just like, I don't know. It's just weird to me.
Because
It's
there's
just
less pressure on the
I
relationship.
guess.
Right.
That's the truth. When there's less pressure on the relationship where you're just there just to compete and have fun with friends, but you guys get along so well, you know what I mean? You don't have to worry about too much.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, absolutely.
In the case of most people.
Most people.
Most people.
Yeah, the Rock thing was funny because they also were in sync again. However, Rashida had it the
Right.
opposite way.
Yeah.
So they had it right, but she was thinking the most important was at the bottom.
Right.
So she had that going up and he had it
I'm
on the
glad
top.
you
And I
saw
thought-
that, though.
Yeah.
When you said that.
I said that because
Yeah.
they did it really fast, but they showed it, and I was like, I'm pretty sure they're just opposite. They got it right the very first time. They just were mistaken on which one was
Right.
supposed to go at the bottom.
Well, she was.
Yeah.
He knew what was up, but she was mistaken on if it was supposed to go at the bottom or the top.
Right.
And then good thing she did realize that because you can imagine
That
if
could have been a
they
game
were-
changer.
Yeah, because Tori and Morgan, I don't know how long it took them all the way, but they definitely could have caught up. I don't think Shanley and Adam were even. I mean, they weren't even trying anymore because
Yeah.
they each thought, And then what Adam's thing just falls over, like
That
it was
was a
just
mess,
it was bad. It was bad.
That sprint, though. 2-mile sprint up to
2
Lighthouse
miles.
on an incline.
2
Yeah.
miles. That
Whoa.
was huge.
On the incline.
And you see Devin like, come on, Rashida, like let's
Yeah.
go. Like he was driving her, and I think definitely, even though she was hurting, but she had to appreciate that because if he was not driving her, she wouldn't have done.
And
as
in
well
the
as she
right
did.
way.
Exactly.
You got to do that in the right way because
Exactly.
it'd be very easy to get someone who's already winded and tired, like just irritated and kind of like stressed
Right.
if you're yelling at them compared to like encouraging. So I
Absolutely.
think that's also a very important part of like the communication.
Right.
Absolutely. So we, of course, as we've been stating, the first place does go to Rashida and Devin, your boy.
Yes.
Yes.
We'll just let you-
Well, they come in first. We got to get to that because there was, some drama. I don't say it was drama. I feel like Devin was doing, but it was interesting because they come in first, $50,000 added, so they were at 170. But the twist then at that point is if they decided, to go through, they had to go to the choice, and it was the same rules apply. One person
had to be
steals, they
twist.
get all, and then double steal, they get nothing, and then second place, which is Tori and Morgan, got the money. I'm curious, so you're in Devin's situation. It's $170,000. Do you steal or do you share?
I'd share.
Yeah.
After all of that, and I couldn't have done it without my partner.
Right.
You know what I mean? I have weaknesses too. I would have shared.
Okay.
It would have been on my mind. I'm not a Johnny Bananas. I can't do it.
Yeah.
It would have been on my mind like you did not. You just took it from that poor girl. The whole thing. And then to top it off, like if it was a double steal, we would just been going home
With
nothing.
All that work for nothing.
All that work for nothing.
Okay.
I would have shared.
Okay.
I would have shared.
I mean, obviously, if Devin was your partner,
I'd
but
never steal from him.
just
No, I honestly think after talking to Rashida, because you do see Devin like as that person who would do that. If anyone would, you kind of see him as. But I think talking to Rashida, like you could tell how much like love that they have for each other
Yes.
outside of this game. And I don't know if maybe that changed my opinion, but also I think I don't think she meant to give it away, but I'm like, she's way too happy and talking way too great about him. There's
Right.
no way he stole this money from
Oh,
her.
when she was on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, you really can tell that they have a great relationship outside, and
Yes.
like he said, like friendship money, if it comes down to it, if that was one of like someone I truly like, some people I'm sure can say that they considered this person their best friend, but if in my heart outside this game that person was a part of my life, I wouldn't risk that for money.
Right.
Sure.
And definitely if I knew that they weren't going to steal from me, it's like, okay, I'm gonna go home with a friendship and a good chunk of change.
Right.
So why risk that?
Absolutely.
So
I think it is interesting when you have these games because, again, going back to the challenge, a lot of these times they say, "Oh, this is my friend," and then they end up stabbing in the back.
they don't care
But I
enough.
feel like it's also part of the competition because that's the thing. It's like these were couples that you had to work with them. Like now, would I try to manipulate someone else? Absolutely, and that's what Devin did. Devin would try to manipulate other people in the house to his advantage. But the whole point was because that was his partner, he tried to make sure that he was good with his partner. So I think it's, but in the case like when it's one other person, and again, you care about that person, I mean, you can't, friendships last a lifetime. Money can come, you could lose $170,000 in no time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? In a day, in a week. But a friendship can last forever. And so to sever those ties and basically end that friendship for some money, then it's just not worth it. If they're truly your friend.
Right.
yeah.
It's just not
And
worth
definitely for me, like I feel like the friendships that come out of a show like Are You the One, it's just a whole different level of it because what they experience together in that house for however long they're there is things that most people are not gonna ever go through together. Even if so I think that if you last that long from when their season aired and are that close, like that friendship is something. And I don't think they're willing to risk it. Most people wouldn't.
So you would share, right, Lem?
it.
What would you
Hey!
All right, Lem. Oh, we are out of time.
Right. So next week, no, I would definitely share. I would definitely share. I mean, it's again just
some time.
to preach it. No, I was manipulating y'all.
Okay.
Puppet Master
no,
Lem.
I just can't. I'm like you. I mean, I couldn't have that on my conscience.
Yeah.
Especially, seeing like again someone like Rashida who she's not gonna steal. She cares so much about you to basically be like, yeah, I'm gonna take this money and just destroy you. And everything that you know what I'm saying, especially when you had to work together, which is why the whole Bananas and Sari thing was so heartbreaking because here she was, they had to work together to get to where they were.
Right.
They had to. And then she kept saying like, oh, I'm going to pay for college and this is, I think it was grad school or something like that. And this will help pay for it. And then to just take that away because,
and she was like a badass competitor. Yes. Like it was equally her part.
There was a lot that she did that
he couldn't have done.
No.
I think that's another situation too is I even saw Rashida tweet earlier. She's like, I can't believe Devin said 70-30.
Yeah.
In this case, that might be true. So that even I think says more about how close that friendship really is that they have.
But and even with the 30, you still need that 30%.
Oh yeah. I mean,
even if you have the 70's not
to be
enough.
honest, he wouldn't be on the show if she wouldn't have agreed to go on with her perfect match. So technically, every single person there could not have done it if their match
but if
didn't
she
agree.
Didn't go, you could have gone. Get in those DMs, Devin. Get in those DMs.
Not gonna let it go. I love it.
One episode we should just read all of Abby's DMs.
A list of Abby's DMs. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I didn't. When they came back and they had to do the choice, I of course had no doubt that they would both share. Even though what he was saying, again, I think it was just for TV. I think it was kind of to mess with the guys. Yeah. Especially Morgan because he was the one that could benefit from it. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, there was no way. And even with Rashida, I feel like she did. Tori did get kind of her head a little bit, but at the end of the day, I mean, they knew what was up, and he put her at ease. He's like, you know what's going on.
We're all good.
So even though it did seem like he was taking a while to press this button, I don't know if I think that might have been just editing. And Karam was like, "You have to make a choice," and I'm like, he said that later.
The drama, Karamo, the drama.
They have to add that in. But I think it was dope. And then I mean, Rashida was so cute. Like she was like crying, and she was just like when she was waiting though, she was just like,
you gotta be a dick to steal from her because she's freaking awesome.
She's so dope.
She's awesome.
And I love when we had her. She's just like, even though she can't Skype us right now.
That's fine, Rashida.
Talking all this good stuff about
you. So cool. And another thing is Shanley was talking about how her and Devin were like their best friends in the house, and I thought it was awesome to see Rashida when Shanley and Adam were fighting, like those were her closest friends, but
Yes.
she's like, listen,
Yes.
I'm sick of both of you disrespecting each other.
Absolutely.
So I thought that
Absolutely.
just shows again how cool she is.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. She's like, just stop. Like, you
Yeah.
don't need to do this. I'm tired of hearing it.
You both working out.
She
for
just
yourself.
seems so chill,
Exactly.
positive, awesome. I love her.
Absolutely.
She must
Absolutely.
be chilling right
And
now.
she doesn't give up. Like, you know, how like I know we were talking about how some girls like Tori, you see clearly physical, like she's, you know, in shape, she's athletic, good at these challenges. Rashida, you would say, I wouldn't say immediately I would think that first about her, but she has that like heart of like, I'm not giving up. I'm going to do this for my partner.
Right.
I'm going to do it for myself. And
She's
I think that's
resilient.
also badass
Yeah.
too. So
Absolutely.
She's
Absolutely.
resilient 100%.
Absolutely. And she was, and it was funny because thinking back on her season, she was like that too. Like everybody loved
Yep.
her.
Yeah.
Rashida.
Yeah.
Like, they just loved it. Like she has an infectious personality.
she does.
So, yeah, so they win. 85 apiece. Tori and Morgan get to split what 40? No,
25.
25,000. So
That's
12.
still
12,500.
chunk of
12,500
change. I'll
apiece.
take it.
I'll take it all day. I'll take it all day.
I'll take $100.
Shanley and Adam get nothing.
Meh.
I mean, it sucks. It sucks. I'm curious to. I mean, I'd like to ask, you know, Shanley and Adam to see if they kind of regret going on the show because it was tough for them. You know, they just not winning any money, going through what they went through. You know, being the oldest of everyone as far as you know from season one. So I'd be curious too if they did something like this. Again, because you notice that most of the people came from the later seasons. It was only one couple from season one, and only one couple from season two. The rest were from 3 through 5. So I'd be curious as to if that might play into if they did this again, how that would work.
I hope
You
they
know
don't
what I'm
regret
saying?
it.
Yeah, they shouldn't.
I hope they don't regret. I always like to say, I'll never regret because those thoughts of regret are just basically mistakes and lessons learned, so you won't do them again later on.
Right.
You experience everything for some sort of way.
Some reason.
For some reason, I'm sorry, yeah. And it just makes you a stronger person nonetheless.
Yeah. And while that relationship may have, I mean, hopefully they're cordial now. It seems to be that they're cordial, they're
think,
good
yeah,
now.
yeah.
But they also think they did make new relationships and make new friends and things that could probably last long now too. So I feel like they, after seeing her and meeting her, I would like to say that she probably doesn't regret it. I don't know him, but she seems cool. She seems like she seemed content. Even on the episode,
And
she seemed.
he does too, though.
Yeah.
Like he's just off. We see it from TV. His personality
Yeah,
seems
chill,
the same.
yeah.
Like I don't think he would regret it. So hopefully not.
I mean, free trip to Australia.
Yeah,
Get
that's
to
what
hang
I'm
out,
saying.
Do some fun stuff.
Drink,
I don't regret
party.
my Wednesday nights with you guys.
Yeah.
I love this.
Exactly.
I love
Yeah.
this.
I love Wednesday nights with you guys.
Hey.
Done. It's over.
I know. It is over. All good things must come to an end, unfortunately. But I think overall, cool season. Like I said, it'd be interesting to see, number one, if they do it again, and if they do, what can be, changes
switch
would be made or what have you. Nonetheless, we definitely are in for, I believe, it's season 6 of Are You the One? Yeah. So,
Oh, yeah.
are they casting? Are
They
you in the
just finished up casting.
know?
for it. Yeah.
Exclusive.
Yeah,
Yes.
so there will be a season. I would assume it would probably be coming out like fall
Okay.
because I think they're filming over the summer.
Okay.
So-
So this year though. We'll
Yeah,
see it
they're,
this
yeah.
year.
I
So,
would imagine.
We're
that-
in a hiatus. Then. Until
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think. Don't quote me, but I know they finished casting, so they should be starting filming soon.
Okay.
Okay.
Dope. There it is.
Inside
ready.
scoop.
You heard it first.
I'm ready.
From Miss Vega, aka Netflix and Chill. You know
Or
how it
chill.
goes down.
AfterBuzz TV exclusive.
There it is.
What was the exclusive? The Netflix and Chill, or was it the news that we just got? Either way. Oh, thank you.
Either way. But ladies and gentlemen, that has been our show and our season. We want to thank you so much for tuning in.
Done.
Thank you everyone that was in the live chat. We also want to thank all of our guests that we had over the season via in the studio and on Skype. Shout out to Rashida and Devin, even though Rashida didn't show up tonight, but it's
That's
all good.
okay.
She was doing her thing. Again, it's 3 hours different, so I get it. She's probably having a good time with her family and friends, enjoying her win, as she should. But yeah, I've been your host, Lem Gonsalves, and you can find me always at The Poet Saint all day, every day. And you can find me on my website, stayonthemic.com. And that's all day, every day as well. Abby Vega.
I'm so sad it's over.
I know.
Like, little shout out, because there were some people really active in the chat. Wrinkled Cows scared Max. Tia, Comic Girl, Sam Jones. You guys are awesome. Thanks for tuning in and chatting with us. It's always fun to like interact.
Absolutely.
Until next season, I guess. That makes me so sad. You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at _Abby Vega.
There you go. And you guys, it was great to talk to you guys this season. Thank you guys for being so active with us in the chat, on Twitter, and just letting us know what you guys think. We love the conversation that you guys always continue after the show as well, too. So once again, my name is...
Hey.
Hurts. Hurts? What was it? What was Hurts?
Beating a dead hurts.
Beating a dead hurts. It's your boy, Nino. You can catch me at Nino Llanera on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Follow my hashtag Nino's POV to catch me and see what I'm doing.
Yes,
All right, guys.
absolutely. And even though I may mess up, ladies and gentlemen, I'm always silently correcting your grammar. Just saying that. Until next time, we'll see you.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later. Netflix and chill.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.